Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan Lugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Friday, July 7th. Today, AFC South record predictions. We've got just about 2 weeks until the Jaguars start reporting to training camp. Exciting times, less than a month or right about a month until preseason football. Exciting. Can't wait for it. This summer's kind of flying by. Ready to get out there at training camp, Miller Electric Center for the first time. But getting into AFC South record predictions today. Can't wait to do it. First, if you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Follow me on Twitter at Jordan DeLugo. Still trying to grow this channel and continue to put out great content for y'all. Looking at the AFC South, the Jaguars, they won it in Week 18, sort of a AFC South championship de facto in Week 18 against the Tennessee Titans last year, a game that went down to the wire, a season that went down to the wire. The Jaguars, this looks like a team heading in the right direction. We've talked about it all summer long. Doug Peterson, one of the best offensive minds in the league today. I think he's going to do a great job with this collection of skill on the offensive side of the ball in 2023. They're the clear favorites in this division. But I want to start out at the bottom and work our way up when I talk about these record predictions. I think the team that's going to come in last place in the AFC South in 2023 is the Indianapolis Colts. I like the direction that they're headed. I like the direction of pretty much every team in this division to a certain extent. I think bringing in Shane Steichen was a great move. I think he has, if anyone has the blueprint to work with Anthony Richardson, it is Shane Steichen. And so I think he's going to be able to design an offense that really features Anthony Richardson's legs with Jonathan Taylor behind what should be an improved offensive line in 2023. But overall, I look at the skill positions. I look at some of the spots at the offensive line. I look at Anthony Richardson's rawness, and he is still a raw quarterback. He's got to improve his accuracy, his decision-making at times. Yes, there's high-level moments as obviously as a runner and a guy with a massive arm, an incredible arm, and there's the pocket presence that shows up pretty good, pretty consistently, but still a lot of things to work on for Anthony Richardson for him to even become, what Jalen Hurts was like in year 2 under Shane Steichen in Philadelphia. I think the overall talent is overwhelming for Anthony Richardson. I'm a Gator fan. I just still think it's going to take a year for him to really get his feet under him in this league. This is a guy that has not played very much football throughout his career. Obviously, in college, only started 1 year for the University of Florida. I think it's going to take a little bit of time. And I look at the Colts, their defense. Gus Bradley's back for defensive coordinator. I think that's fine. No problem with that there. But my issue is the pass rush going to be enough? Is Shaquille Leonard going to be back? Obviously, we know that Zaire Franklin and EJ Speed can play at linebacker for them. But not having Shaquille Leonard, I think, just really takes the wind out of the sails of the Indianapolis Colts defense. I think they want him back. They need him back. Is he going to be back? I'm not sure. He's still not practicing. I'm not sure how healthy he's going to be in 2023, what the deal is going to be with that. So that remains TBD. And then you look at the back end, I am a little worried about the cornerback position, right? They lost Stephon Gilmore. Isaiah Rodgers, no longer there with the suspension and being waived. So those were your top 2 corners last year. Now you're replacing them with rookies. 2 rookies I really like, by the way. Love Juju Brents out of Kansas State and Darius Rush out of South Carolina. But I think it's tough when you're talking about starting 2 rookies at corner, talking about starting a rookie quarterback. You have a rookie head coach in here. I just don't really see all the pieces adding up. I think there's some really good things on this roster. As I've mentioned, I think the running game can be awesome with Anthony Richardson, with Jonathan Taylor. I love DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart in the middle on the defensive line. I think there's potential for growth with Kwity Paye, with some of these other guys. I like bringing in Samson Ebukam to play some edge for you as well from San Francisco. But I still just don't see it all adding up for Anthony Richardson in year 1. I have the Colts going 6-11. And finishing with a 2-4 record inside the division. Coming in third in the AFC South, I have the Houston Texans. No big surprise here. Look, whenever you have rookie head coaches, rookie quarterbacks, same team, same year, it's going to be difficult for them to really compete at the highest level in the division. Usually just does not happen unless you have a rookie quarterback that is paired with a veteran head coach. That's when you can kind of see some teams do some things like Brock Purdy in San Francisco last year. But for me, I think it's going to take a little bit for the Texans as well. I do think they have a better chance of being more competitive than the Colts this year. And look, I think either team could be competitive. I would not be surprised if the Colts or Texans end up winning 8 games, maybe flirting with even having a winning record. But I just can't predict it right now based on everything I've seen yet in year one. Again, like the directions. I really like for the Texans, bringing over D'Amico Ryans, a great leader of men, a great defensive play caller. You obviously bring in Bobby Slowick as well from San Francisco, so you're going to be running that Shanahan outside zone running scheme and working off of that in the passing game, getting guys schemed open. I think you're going to like a lot of that. I think C.J. Stroud is a really good option to run that type of offense. I think drafting him at number 2 overall, he's going to have a chance to come in and be a top 20 quarterback in year one. I really do believe that. And I think beyond that, you could see a guy who becomes just a really efficient passer, a really smart passer, and a guy who can also do some things for you with his legs. He showed the ability to do that at the University of He showed the ability to do that against Georgia in the playoffs. I think you'll continue to see that a little bit. I like Stroud in this system quite a bit. I think that the system combined with the talent, combined with the mental makeup there, can be really good. But what is the ceiling for him in year one? I think it'll take a little bit of time for him to reach his peak in this league. I don't think he's going to hit it in 2023. Looking at the running backs, I love Dameon Pierce. Obviously, Devin Singletary's talented. I think the offensive line really good up front. You have 2 really good offensive tackles. You've got Juice Scruggs coming in. I love Kenyon Green at guard. I think he had a little bit of a rough year in year one, but he's going to improve. Shaq Mason comes over as well. So I think you have a pretty complete looking offensive line. Looking at the defensive line, not as impressive. I do love bringing in Will Anderson, and I think there's guys that can play for you here across the defensive line that are quality starters, but who's really going to elevate this defensive front outside of Will Anderson, and is he going to be able to do that in year one? Remains to be seen. At the second level, this is going to be huge. The linebackers for the Houston Texans, you've got Christian Kirksey. Christian Harris, can he step up and become a guy who can really drop and be effective in coverage? I think if he can do that, that could really change some things for the Houston Texans defense. If he can emulate some of what Fred Warner does for the San Francisco 49ers, I'm not sure he's going to be able to do that. I think he has the athleticism. Will he have just the overall skill set to get that job done in 2023? I'm not sure. We'll be excited to find out. Then you look at the back end. You love what they have with Derek Stingley, with some of these other young players, Jalen Petrie as well. Bringing in Jimmy Ward to kind of get that secondary moving in the right direction following D'Amico Ryans from San Francisco. I think it was a good move. Still have the Texans finishing 7-10 in 2023. Again, would not be surprised if they exceed that expectation. Have them going 3-3 in the AFC South. Tennessee Titans. I have them coming in second place in the AFC South right now. I have them finishing at 8-9. I know a lot of people think the bottom is going to completely fall out for the Titans in 2023. I don't see that happening. They've still got a lot of the same pieces that have gotten them to the playoffs, that have gotten them 1 seeds in the past. No, they don't have A.J. Brown anymore, but I think Treylon Burks can do some of what A.J. Brown did for you. I think Kyle Phillips is an underrated piece going into year 2. Missed a lot of time with injury, but when he was on the field in year 1 out of UCLA for the Titans, virtually uncoverable. Chigo Okonkwo going into year 2 is huge, but it all starts with Derrick Henry with this running game. You want to get him outside, attacking the C gap, attacking the D gap, and getting ahead of steam and rolling downhill on these linebackers, these safeties, these corners that want no part of him. And I think that's a recipe that still works. I think you saw it work. I think their offensive line will be improved. Will it be good? No. Will it be average? Maybe, but it will be improved. It was one of the worst offensive lines in the league last year. Ryan Tannehill coming back. He's a winner in this system. Not an elite quarterback, not even an above average quarterback in my opinion, but this system really elevates what he can do. And you have Derrick Henry running, you have the play action passing game working. Ryan Tannehill makes good decisions, can deliver the ball where it needs to go. I think if they were able to go land DeAndre Hopkins, I'd probably have them winning 9 games, maybe 10, and probably sneaking into the playoffs. Right now, I have them just on the outside looking in, but I could very easily see the Titans making a wild card run and making it back to the playoffs in 2023. Have the Titans finishing 3-3 in the division, and that leads us to your Jacksonville Jaguars. Have them finishing first place in the AFC South for the second year in a row. First time in franchise history that they will have won back-to-back AFC South titles if they're able to pull this off. I have the Jaguars finishing with a 12-5 record in 2023. I think the offense is going to be absolutely humming. I think the concerns over the offensive line are a little bit overblown. You have the exact same interior group with a little bit added depth and competition behind them. You have Anton Harrison coming in at right tackle, Walker Little playing left tackle. And then after week 4, you're going to have a fully healthy Cam Robinson back. You're going to have Josh Wells as a swing tackle as well. So you're going to have 4 tackles that can play. You're going to have your same interior offensive line group. Everybody was questioning last year, is the offensive line okay? It was just fine for the Jacksonville Jaguars. A lot of that has to do with Doug Peterson's offensive system, getting the ball out quickly, using misdirection, confusing defenses so they cannot play as fast as they want to. So I don't think it's going to be a major issue. And in 3 of those first 4 games where they're going to be without Cam Robinson, you're going up against the Texans, the Falcons, and the Colts. They do not exactly have the most formidable edge rushes right now early on in the 2023 season. Obviously, you'd like to have Cam Robinson against the Chiefs, but were you going to be predicted to beat the Chiefs in week 2? Probably not, whether Cam Robinson plays or not, right? But Jags, I love what they're going to have on the offensive side of the ball with the addition of Calvin Ridley, with the addition of Tank Bigsby in the backfield to complement Travis Etienne, and also Dearness Johnson, and bringing JaMycal Hasty back. Really good quality backfield. Travis Etienne is a home run waiting to happen. You talk about adding Brenton Strange at tight end to go with Evan Ingram, who I think will be back with the Jaguars. Has not signed the franchise tag yet. Hasn't worked out a multi-year deal, but I do see him returning to the Jaguars for training camp and getting things going. But look, Brenton Strange is going to add a new element to this offense, and it's space blocking. Chris Manhertz, he was like an extra offensive lineman on the end of that line. Brenton Strange can do that for you, but he can also get out in space and block and take on linebackers, safeties, corners, and move them. And so I think that's going to help some of the fun gadget type stuff that the Jaguars can do. And he's also a quality pass catcher. I don't think he's going to need to be a big-time pass-catching threat in year 1 with Evan Ingram still there, but I think he'll help out, and I think if need be, he can be a pass-catching threat for you early on. Looking at the defensive side of the ball, is it going to be improved? I believe it will. I think you'll see steps forward from Trayvon Walker, from Tyson Campbell, from Andre Sisco, really from a lot of this defense. Mike Caldwell was in the first year as a defensive coordinator in the league, coming into Jacksonville last year, and a lot of these guys, brand new system, now they are going into year 2 in this system. Mike Caldwell is going into year 2 as a defensive coordinator. I think things really started to kind of ramp up for the Jaguars defense down the stretch when you got Trey Herndon inside at nickel, Darius Williams and Tyson Campbell outside. Andre Sisco got more comfortable in this defense, started getting his hands on the football really consistently. Rayshon Jenkins is a playmaker, not a consistent coverage player at safety, but he will do some fun things for you. He's a leader on the field. He's a hard worker, high energy guy. I think that the defensive interior is quality. Linebacker play, you've got to have Devin Lloyd, Chad Muma, maybe both of them step up and be able to complement Foye Oluokun a little bit more consistently. You saw the flashes from both of them in year 1, but I think you want a little bit more consistency. Going to be a very good run defense as it was last year. I think it's going to be improved overall pass defense. The Jaguars, they were 8th in team pressure rate last year. I think Trayvon Walker will improve. I think Josh Allen will get home a little bit more. I still think you'd like to add DeJuan Smoot back into the mix, maybe another veteran edge rusher, a Melvin Ingram, a Justin Houston type, maybe Carlos Dunlap. But the Jaguars defense, I think, even without Arden Key, without Dwan Smoot would be improved on paper based on just the fact that, again, going into year 2 of this system, a lot of guys kind of going into year 3 of their careers on the back end, especially when you talk about Tyson Campbell and Andre Sisco. Love that pairing at corner and safety. I think the Jaguars are going to roll in a lot of weeks in 2023 on the offensive side of the ball. I think that's going to help out the defense as well. Can't wait to see how it plays out for them, but I've got them going 12-5 and 4-2 in the AFC South. That is it for these AFC South standing predictions in 2023. Again, I have the Colts at 6-11, the Texans at 7-10, the Titans at 8-9, and the Jacksonville Jaguars a good chunk ahead of that group at 12-5. I think the Jags are going to be obviously a top 4 seed. I think they might end up being able to pull off a 3 seed. We'll see how it plays out with the Bengals, with the Bills, with the Kansas City Chiefs and their records. But yeah, I think the Jaguars are going to be right there on the heels of those top teams in the AFC and maybe be able to take them down once they enter the playoffs. We'll see how it all plays out, but thank you so much for tuning in. Again, you can hit me up on Twitter at Jordan DeLugo. Hit that like and subscribe button, the notification bell so you don't miss a show on here. Drop a comment in the comment section below. Get us some engagement. The algorithm loves it. Really appreciate y'all. Hope you have a great weekend, Duval.